It's time, it's time, it's time! Welcome everybody to the Miami Dolphins season preview. Yes, I am very, very hyped about this season. I can feel this season to be a bit different. Instead of all the heartbreaks and all the unnecessary losses, I'm confident of this team that they can do better and more importantly, to accomplish this certain goal. So, before I get started, the posters are finished, so the background is kind of finished. The studio, the desk part is still in work in progress, but it's almost done. So for now, let's enjoy this. All right, so the Miami Dolphins. They Vic Fangio was our defensive coordinator last year, and he left to go join the Philadelphia Eagles, which was, Mike McDaniel's their head coach. He was recently, I think he was recently extended, which I reported on, I believe. And Frank Smith is still offensive coordinator. I don't know, but the newly addition of our defense is Baltimore's one of Baltimore's coach, defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver, who is hired from the Dolphins staff, from Dolphins front office. He has signed a contract with us, with the Miami Dolphins. So I have a feeling that our defense is going to be a bit better than what Vic Fangio had under his sleeve. So Anthony Weaver has a no-joke mentality of a defense. He has that ability to lock players up when they are going on that route. So I'm really excited to see the defensive part. But the offensive part, it's also the excitement that we have. We have few players like Jalen Waddle re-signs a contract with the Dolphins, which was absolutely amazing. Tua is finally getting paid big money, and like I said in that video, I think it would be good money if not only he only puts up the offensive stat that he did last year, but win us that playoff game. And Tyreek Hill has his contract restructured. He is now being paid much more than he was previously, which is not an extension, but he is still getting paid more bucks in this new restructured contract with Tyreek Hill, and that is deservedly so. He was up in the press conference saying, "Do what you got to do, but do not get me traded." Because last time he did that, it was kind of funny. He is really funny, dude. He is so funny. But with the addition, with the contract talks with Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Tua, we had some additions into our team. Odell Beckham Jr. is now part of our team, who is not going to be able to play until week 5 because of an injury. So I think that is going to be our slot guy. Braxton Berrios still around, who is still our defensive side of this. We already know that Christian Wilkins was not going to come back. However, we have signed some players like Calais Campbell, and then we had that one player. I forgot his name, but he was with Tampa. He came in, signed a 2-year contract, and then just retired. Flat out just retired during the offseason. Like, what the actual, I don't know. That is just ridiculous to me. But we lost some key guys. Connor Williams is gone off. I wouldn't say that's a major loss, but a bad one regarding to trying to block. But we definitely need a good snapper, dude. I think a lot of fumble snaps came from Connor Williams himself, but we'll see what happens with this one. So now that that's out of the way, we also have Chop Robinson, who we drafted first round. We already talked about the draft. If you want to go back, you can go back there. But let us have a depth chart talk. This is we have Bobby Schaus on X2. Thank for it. I reposted it there. So I'm going to read the depth chart right here. So in the offense side, we got wide receiver slots. We got Tyreek Hill, obviously. And then his backup would be Braxton Berrios, which is obvious right there. Left tackle is Taron Armstead, who is returned to the Dolphins. Patrick Paul will be the backup, or if anything could go shift, Robert Jones is the left guard. Center, we got Aaron Brewer and Andrew Meyer. I hope one of those guys could be a key factor of snapping the football. They look pretty good in the preseason. Right guard, we got Leon Eichenberg. Welcome back. He is a really solid offensive line guard on the right side. And his backup is Lester Cotton. Right tackle, Austin Jackson, who is really good on the right side. And Julian Hill is, Kendall Lamb. Kendall Lamb is his backup. Now, tight end. Now we can talk tight end a bit. I still feel like as much as we have really good wide receiving depth, tight end depth, after, Mike Gesicki leaves, what are we going to do with tight end? So we got Durham Smythe, and we also got Julian Hill, not related to Tyreek Hill. Julian Hill, which I kind of mistaken earlier with the right tackle, so I apologize for that. But that is the backup of Durham Smythe. So Durham Smythe will get the start right there. And we'll see what happens with the tight end situation. But return to our depth with the wide receiving. We are a really fast team. We're still the fastest team in the NFL. Forward, we got Alan Ingold, Ronald Smith, and Tanner Connor. Alec Ingold is still solid, and I'm really grateful that he's still in our team. Running backs. So, running back situation, we have some really solid ones, especially Raheem Mostert, who had a career year last year with 19 touchdowns. I believe 19 touchdowns, as far as I remember. Can he pick up the pace Can he pick up where he left off last season and continue on his career years with the Dolphins? I believe he can still remain consistent. The running back situation is really, really good. So I'm not worried too much about the running back depth. His backup is Jeff Wilson, who is pretty good. Devon Achane, who has one of the fastest rookies, who had himself an amazing year with the Dolphins. Even missing a couple of games, he still came back and was solid. He was absolutely fast. He is scoring touchdowns. He broke through, and he is a patient runner as well. Just like his backup, who made the team off the preseason. Congratulations to Jalen Wright, who is going to be Achane's backup. Absolutely congratulations. He deserves this spot. Dude, welcome to the Dolphins, and I can't wait to watch him play. Quarterbacks, well, Tua Tagovailoa is our starting QB, as we expected it. Of course, right? He's getting paid a lot of money. He has to. His backup is going to be Skylar Thompson, who did better in the preseason. He even has playoff experience. I don't know whether or not if Mike White has playoff experience. And even if he did, he didn't even play. I think it was with the Cowboys. Didn't have any playoff experience with the Jets. And I don't know he was that great in the preseason. Skylar Thompson was just better. I'm sorry to say. Hopefully Skylar Thompson can continue his progression and will be a good backup whenever the Dolphins needed him most. I know in 2022, 2023, he was very shaky, and our patience were wearing thin with him. But he was a rookie then, and given the benefit of doubt, he's going to get better. He made the team again for a reason. He has a playoff experience against the Buffalo Bills. But we shall see what happens with Skylar Thompson. But I think it's a solid choice to pick him over Mike White. It just didn't work out, Mike White, and he's a good guy, but it just didn't work out. The next wide receiver, right side or left side, depending on Jalen Waddle. Yeah, he's going to start. His backups will be Malik Washington, who is a draft pick. I think it's a solid pick, and put him back in the team. And Grant Dubas, who is going to be Malik Washington's backup, the third tier. Now for the defense, defensive tackles, we got Zach Saylor, who actually had a touchdown last season. I think it was against the Commanders, as far as I remember. So that was awesome. Bernito Jones, whose backup will be Brandon Pilley, Calais Campbell, and Deshaun Hand. So Calais Campbell was one of our signings after Christian Wilkins. Who's going to fill in the role? Chop Robinson, Calais Campbell. We shall see. The biggest name here with the linebacker outside line, Jalen Phillips. Welcome back, Jalen Phillips. Thank God he's okay, and he was able to play week 1. I think I said this weeks ago. He's going to play week 1, and he is going to play week 1. Unfortunately for Bradley Chubb, he is not going to play for another few weeks. Still recovering. I think he's in rehab. Almost done. But he's still in that PUP list. Alongside Odell Beckham. I have a feeling they're going to return as soon as possible. But for now, we have to stick with Jalen Phillips, who is still a beast on defense. So I am so thrilled to have Jalen Phillips back. Absolutely incredible player and a good guy and a key part of our defense. And his backup would be Quentin Bell. Linebackers now, David Long, who is still a pretty good linebacker. And Anthony Walker will be his backup. Jordan Brooks, who is still a pretty good linebacker, a solid one too. Duke Riley also is a damn good backup. And Shannon Tedell, who is Duke Riley's backup. Emmanuel Agba, who was gone, but he came back. So welcome back, Agba, who is still pretty good. Our first round pick is Chop Robinson. That's going to be Agba's backup. And behind him is Mohamed Kamara. Corners now. Jalen Ramsey, who we traded for nothing. We traded nothing for Jalen Ramsey. I think it was Hunter Long. So, what the heck was that noise? Ramsey, our corners, absolutely amazing. His backup would be Saran Neal, and no surprise here, he had an amazing preseason. Storm Duck. Storm Duck is going to be Neal's backup. He was damn good in a preseason. So no surprise he made it to the professionals. Congratulations, Storm Duck. Another corner side, Kendall Fuller. Hopefully he improves, as well as Ethan Bonner. I don't know how to pronounce it. I butchered it. I apologize. But you know what's crazy? I also learned that Xavier Howard is still not signed with anybody. Maybe he can come back. I don't know. We'll see. In the nickel spot, Caden Kohu is still our player. And our safeties, Javon Holland, one of our best safeties in the league. He is backed up by Elijah Campbell, which is another signing off the offseason. But a big one. Absolutely one of the biggest safety pickups in the offseason. Jordan Poyer, who is from the Buffalo Bills. He is not shocking at all. He made the professional team. Welcome to the Dolphins, Jordan Poyer. That is a huge pickup in our defensive side, and I think he is going to play absolutely amazing under Anthony Weaver. And Marcus May, who is going to be Poyer's backup. Special teams. Kicker, Jason Sanders. No surprise there. Jake Bailey would be the holder and the punter. Long snapper is Blake Ferguson, who is a long snapper and a pretty darn good player too in the special teams. Braxton Berrios would be the punt returner and the kickoff returner. If not him, it would be HN and Malik Washington with the kickoff return. But for the punt, also Malik Washington. So that is the depth chart right there. We shall talk about the schedule and what this means for us, and then my predictions. I expect this season to be better. It's a lot of pressure on the Dolphins, but if they can pull up the pressure, I think they're going to be a pretty darn good team. and finally achieving something. All right. Week 1, which did 3, well, it's actually tonight, which is Kansas City versus Baltimore Ravens. Last year I reported the same thing, but are you excited? I'm pretty excited. And I know for sure NFL is very excited to watch their players, right? Their players are being shown less than Taylor Swift. Anyway, week 1, which is in 3 days, Battle of Florida. My friend down there was saying if South Florida sweeps North Florida, he was referring to the Florida Gators, it would have been an amazing week for the Florida or South Florida's team. But Battle of Florida between the Dolphins and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, years ago, last time we played against the Jaguars was in London, and that was one of the most humiliating losses in Dolphins history, where Jaguars was close enough, or was in a 20-game losing streak, and the Dolphins failed to beat them in London. Absolutely unacceptable, and one of the more reasons, I'm just going to leave it there. So, week 1 is Battle of Florida. Trevor Lawrence versus Tua. Trevor Lawrence has the hands against Tua, but this time Tua has to be better than this against Trevor Lawrence, and that's going to be at Hard Rock. So it's going to be packed out. It's going to be loud. They have to capitalize off it. Temperatures won't be an issue for both Florida teams because Jacksonville is in Florida, close to the Georgia border. It's one of the most northern cities, as what I can tell, most northern Florida city in the States, if not then Tallahassee or Pensacola. But still, it's close to the Georgia border. And that, even though that stadium is loud, and they're probably getting a new stadium, they are still a pretty good fan base. But man, you're in South Florida. We got to do better. On another big game, prime, Thursday Night Football, September 12th versus Buffalo Bills. This one has to be one of the more important games early on. This win, if you beat the Buffalo Bills here, it sets the statement for the rest of the team. And I feel like Jordan Poyer will have what it takes to beat Josh Allen and then be 2-0 again. We go to Seattle next, West Coast in the Cascadia area in the Pacific Northwest. That's going to be a tough one. I don't know if we can pull it off. Monday Night Football, we have to beat the Titans, right? There's going to be Monday Night Football, and I might very much be at that game. So, Monday Night Football against Tennessee Titans again. Last year, we lost 27-28. That's the game we should have won. And I think if you remember last year, I was legitimately pissed and raging in that video. That loss hurt us big time. Not only it cost us AFC East, but it also cost our chance to get a better seed. And we might not even have to play against Kansas City until later on. That's how bad it was. So, anyway, next game is against the New England Patriots. That should be a win. Even a Drake May, or actually no, Jacoby Brissett is their quarterback, right? But Drake May, yeah, I talked about Drake May before. He's good. He's their backup, and he might be the next Brady. Who knows? I don't know. Then we got a bye week. Then we got the Indianapolis Colts on the road. So I feel like that could be a winnable game, but we'll see. Cardinals. We got the Cardinals the week after at Hard Rock, so that's gonna be a fun one. Next up is against Buffalo in Buffalo. Yeah, I don't know. That we don't have our good luck against Buffalo Bills in Buffalo, even if they're getting a new stadium. Then Monday Night Football. I almost said Monday Night Raw. Jeez. Monday Night Football on Veterans Day against the Rams at SoFi. Yeah, I went to SoFi. We'll see what happens to this one. Then the week after is against Las Vegas again. They might be a better team this season, but who knows? Then we got the Patriots next. That could be another one wins. Then we have a Thanksgiving game between the Dolphins and the Green Bay Packers. I am kind of in fear mode against the Packers. Then we got the Jets next at Hard Rock. Then the week after, we got the Houston Texans in RNG Stadium. Or NRG Stadium, sorry. Then we got a really big, really tough game against the 49ers in Christmas week. That might be prime time game at Hard Rock Stadium. Then we got the Cleveland Browns on Sunday Night Football. And then this is either a flex game for January 4th or January 5th. But our final regular season game will be at MetLife Stadium against the New York Jets. So that is a regular season schedule. Now for my predictions. Week 1 against the Jaguars, I have the Dolphins absolutely winning this game. They should be able to win this game. Absolutely. If not, then it sets a bad example. Week 2, I think with the newly good additions and the good coaching staff that we have, I have a feeling that we might be able to pull this off against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills in week 2 alone. I have the Dolphins just beating the Buffalo Bills at home. So, whatever the case that may be, I have the Dolphins beating the Bills in Thursday night. They have to. They just have to do it. Week 3, I don't know if we have enough to beat the Seahawks on the road. I forgot what that football stadium's called. I think it's called Lumen Field. But that stadium, incredible stadium. Seattle fans are absolutely amazing on all the sports. And hopefully when they do get the Supersonics back, they're probably going to be even better. But in terms of this game, I just don't see us beating the Seahawks on the road. It is so tough to beat them on a road for any team. I have to say the Dolphins will lose this one against the Seahawks. Monday night against the Tennessee Titans, you have to win this game. So I have the Dolphins beating the Titans this time. Learn from the mistakes, especially the defensive part, and I think we're good to go. So 3-1 so far to start. And against the Patriots next week, the week after, I have the Dolphins beating them at Gillette. So 4-1 so far. Then we go on a bye week. We go up against the Colts. We should be able to beat the Colts. So 5-1 so far. So Dolphins having themselves a pretty good season so far. Then we got the Cardinals, who are going through a rough rebuild. I think the Dolphins got this one right here. So that's another win. So far I have the Dolphins. Going 6-1 to start the year. Then our second L probably comes against Buffalo, up at Buffalo, New York. That's gonna be our second L right there. And I don't know, the Monday night game is gonna be tough. That Monday night game is gonna be tough. They have a good quarterback. Matthew Stafford is still pretty good. They got a really good running back. I watched him play. So at SoFi Stadium, I think the Rams might have our number this one. I have the Dolphins losing against the Rams here. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we go undefeated, but that's unrealistic. Anyway, I have the Rams beating the Dolphins. I'm sorry. It's going to be tough to play even in the West. It's so tough. So 6-3 so far. Raiders come in town. I think the Dolphins will barely edge the Raiders here. It will be a good bounce back after 2 rough weeks against the really competitive teams. Well, we'll see what happens. Then we got the Patriots at home. We should be able to beat the Patriots at home. Then we got the Green Bay Packers. That is a tough game at Lambeau. I think the Dolphins, again, will fall to the Packers on Thanksgiving. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's incredible. It'll be an incredible upset. We beat the Packers. Jordan Love is going to be better, as well as their receiving core, and they have a really good head coach. So in a tough environment like Lambeau, I think the Packers will have our number. Then we got the Jets. This is a tough one because I don't know whether or not Aaron Rodgers will play this long. But in terms of this game, we should beat Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. I have the Dolphins beat the Jets at Hard Rock at least. Then we go to Houston, which we should be able to beat Houston on the road. But that stadium is tough. that stadium is still tough to play at. I think the Dolphins will beat them, but it's going to be very close. And by this point, we should be able to clinch a playoff spot. The game against the 49ers, that's tough. That's tough. We technically started Brock Purdy's career. Yeah, his first game was against the Dolphins after Garoppolo got hurt. But it's going to be at Hard Rock though. But I just don't know if Brock Purdy. I just don't know if the Dolphins will have enough to beat the freaking 49ers. They went to the Super Bowl again. This time under Brock Purdy. As soon as Brock Purdy came on the field, he feels like he's been in the NFL for 10 years. His first game, he just goes off, and he's been going off and off and off and off. I don't know, man. I think the Niners have our number in this one, as frustrating as it is. Then we got the Cleveland Browns, who is also a playoff team. Do the Browns edge us in this one? This is a tough call. This is going to be on Sunday night. It's going to be in Cleveland. So the cold will be the impact for the Dolphins team. So I don't know. I don't know. This is a tough call to make. When the Browns made it to the playoffs last season, they got absolutely beat by I forgot what team it was. It might have been Houston, who was also a playoff team. I don't know. That is a tough call to make. I don't know. I think, considering the defense, the December numbers have not been great for the Dolphins in recent years, maybe the Browns might have had our number this one. I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens. And final game of the season is in the Jet Stadium. That is the game I'm most worried, because that is a field of death. The field is awful. The environment is going to be cold, but can the Dolphins do it there? Maybe. But if Aaron Rodgers still playing himself, the Jets could have our number. But we have good defense, but it never fools Aaron Rodgers. Maybe at home with the Jets, they probably would have our number there. But this one's also a tough call. But in recent years, Dolphins always have the Jets numbers. But Aaron Rodgers' number, no. I think in the Jets Stadium alone, I think the Jets might have had this one in the season finale. But it's also to say if those two teams make it to the playoffs. But we shall see what happens here. So, my prediction, I got the Jaguars winning, so they start off 6-1, then lose 2 straight, so 6-3. 6-3, so 6-3 after that, the Rams game, 7-3, 8-3, 8-3, and Packers 8-4. I got the Jets 9-4. Dolphins just barely beating the Texans, so 10-4, and then losing three straight. So 9-4. Hold on. Let me do it one more time. 6-1 to start off the year. 2 straight losses. So 6-3, 7-3, 8-3, 8-4, 9-4, 10-4. So I would say 10-7 with playoff berth. But we'll see what happens. Anything could change. Anything could happen from this point forward. But yeah, I'm excited for football, guys. Let's go Dolphins. Prove me wrong. And hopefully we actually win a playoff game. And my ultimate prediction, if we make the playoffs, big if, we have to win a playoff game. No matter who is against. This is the biggest goal of the season. Forget Super Bowl. Forget Super Bowl for a minute. Because Super Bowl will be down far stretch right there. But winning a playoff game, and I'll say this with the Hurricanes too, winning a bowl game will be a step to the right direction in the future. And I'm going to say the same thing with the Miami Dolphins. Winning the playoff game this season is a step to the right direction for the eventual Super Bowl. We have a really, really good team and a good structured team, great offense, a pretty good defense so far. But you have to win a playoff game. That is our biggest goal. Can they do it this season? I think they can. They have a playoff experience, especially Tua now has a playoff experience. If they can pull this off, I think we have a really bright future ahead of us with the the Miami Dolphins team. But anyway, there you go. That is going to do it for this one. If you have enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more content because Miami TV, you guys are back. And when he does, keep it right there with the fear team you deserve. Fins up, football, baby. And I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, everybody.